Hi, I'm Dr. Marian Owen with Whole Family Medicine, and I want to talk to you today about neuroplasticity and how I'm helping people use neuroplasticity to help themselves feel and be better. One of the types of patients that I see that's always most challenging and gratifying to work with is the chronically ill. People who have mystery problems, aches and pains, fatigue, brain fog, and we've all spent time Googling online and trying to figure out what could be causing this. And so people will come to me with a self-diagnosis, perhaps of chronic hypothyroidism or food intolerances, chronic Lyme disease, chronic inflammatory infections that are associated with Lyme disease, mold sensitivity, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia. And these things can have a multitude of causes, the symptoms that are causing people to find these diagnoses. And sometimes people come in and they're right. They do have chronic Lyme disease and I need to treat that. Or they are being exposed to mold and I need to help them figure out how to heal from that. But what I run into time and time again is we've done the biologic work. Me and a patient have walked through what we need to walk through to clear the triggering problem for their illness. And yet they continue to persistently have fatigue, brain fog, inability to get out and reconnect with the world, anxiety, crippling anxiety sometimes. And this can happen because of a thing called the limbic system. So in our brain, we have our deep old brain, and I like to do like this for it, called the limbic system. It's at the top of the spinal cord, and its job evolutionarily, and still for the most part, is to regulate things we don't think about. How fast we're breathing, whether there's a threat in the room, what our blood pressure needs to be, temperature. There's also a part of the limbic system that interprets people's facial expressions and warns our internal environment. That person is angry at us. We might need to run. So it's there's a coordinating switch between the external environment and how we're reacting internally. And that switch can get hypersensitized to threat. When you have been chronically ill and you have seen multiple physicians who have told you you have a myriad of different problems, or more frustratingly, no problem at all, and it's all in your head, and you need to just go take Prozac and you'll be fine, and stop whining. That when you know there's something wrong with you and the people you are seeking help from are telling you that what's wrong with you is you, it is really hard to finally believe and trust and get well when we have finally fixed whatever the initial insult or trigger that got you into this state is. So that limbic system can become hyper vigilant, hyper aware, and hyper protective. And it can set off cascades in your body of inflammation, panic, blood vessel contraction, so your brain isn't getting adequate blood flow, and so you can't think. All of these things are happening. Your symptoms are real, but the trigger is a misinterpreted signal. And so you can't mindfulness or meditate your way out of this box. Your limbic system is going to keep you alive. It's going to protect you. It's been doing a good job, and it's not going to stop until it believes that you are in fact okay. And this is where a technique called dynamic neural retraining comes in and has helped so many of my patients that I just want to make sure everyone knows about it. So dynamic neural retraining is not meditation. It's not sitting quietly or learning to breathe and control your anxiety. It is using your brain, your frontal cortex, the part of you that is you, that thinks and interacts with the world and knows that you're safe and doesn't understand why you're so sick. And it helps you use that part of your brain to talk to your limbic system and say, sweetheart, you're overreacting. I don't need you to be this protective anymore. I'm well. I know how to be well. There was a time in my life before when I was well, and I want to get back to that, and I need you to just lay off a little bit. The kind of thing you'd like to say to a bully a little bit. But your limbic system is there, and it's doing its job. Lord love it. but it's doing it too much. And there's a technique you can learn through dynamic neural retraining that helps you use your brain, your self, to calm your limbic system down and get you back in control. And it can be amazingly freeing. It's not hard to do. It's hard to make yourself do. It takes practice, daily practice. You have to learn a technique. You have to do it, like brainwashing. But you can use the front of your brain to rewire your limbic system and calm it down through practice and integrative effort. And that system is something that I recommend more and more frequently and earlier and earlier and earlier in the process of working with people who have been and are chronically ill. Because sometimes I feel like I can't tell if you're better until we've done this work. So it's something that I have people integrate early on if they can, so that we know when we're getting you well again.